Näetkö sen? Ei, mulla on Ripsa vielä. Ja mikä se oli? Mikä se nimi oli? Kaija, joo. Mulla on siis... Tai levopaari. Tai levopaari. Mä en kivistä yhtä. Ja oikein. Mä en tiedä, mitä se antaa ilosta. Ei, ollaan yhtä perseestä. Haluaisin vielä aseman mielestä. Joo, mä olisin sun sisälihalle. Sä ei vielä tauon. Joo, todella. Aamuisin. Miksei? Miksei? Hei! Jos on Sauli, niin se ei vastaa. Onko se rapulasta? Miksi ei ole?
All right, people. Can you please go and sit down so we can start? Thank you. And warm welcome again. It's day 2 for the tutor afternoon trainings. How's it going today? All good? Put your thumb up if it's been a good day. If it has been a bad day, put it down. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, looks good. Perfect. Let's go through the schedule. What are we gonna do today? So here you may see the program of the day. So starting now, having these lovely welcome words. And the first speaker we're going to have today is Eero Löytämäki from Samok. And he's going to talk about what kind of University of Applied Sciences students are. So a bit of statistics and other fun stuff. After Eero, we're going to have Kaisa talking about students and community and them together at 3 o'clock. After Kaisa, we're going to have a short break. We'll serve some coffee and cookies. I know that you people requested that we would have the coffee in the beginning as well, but I'm sorry, we can't do that. There are only me and Theo today, and we needed to set up the stream and put the slides in. So, sorry about that. Thank you. After the break, I can't remember who's the person who's going to come talk about this, but anyways, the topic is supporting studies. After that, I'm going to give you a little info package about the tutor camp. And that's about it. That's the end of the second training day and actually all of your afternoon trainings. So let's try to be effective today. Let's try not to be chatty there, because got some feedback yesterday from Porvo people who are watching the stream that it is actually really hard to listen when someone else is talking in the audience. So let's try to respect them and keep quiet. Perfect. Actually, one more thing. No, they are there. Good. You didn't receive these tutor passes yesterday since we forgot to bring the English ones. So I'll share these now. You need to put them together by yourself since I'm such a lazy person. You have yours? Yeah. No, that's a different one. That's the tutor guide. This is for...
We have...
Really?
Our head teacher has put together this like Excel thing.
Yeah, Charles is
Why am I not surprised? She's amazing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll take that as well. Yeah. any extras?
Yeah. There's a bunch here.
Okay.
Does the start relate on the past? Does it relate to our study start or the tutoring start?
The tutoring start.
So yes.
And as mentioned earlier, you may put the hours from these afternoon trainings as well, which is it free? Did we have 3 hours yesterday? And probably, we'll see, probably the same amount today, so 3 hours, depending on the speakers.
How many pens can you stick in there?
Se on hiljaa, se porvo ei kuule mitään.
Hi, nice to meet you all. Nice to see that there's lots of people here. This is actually the first time I'm speaking in English for like several years, or at least speaking this long. But I think it's a nice challenge for me, and I hope maybe for you too. But it's nice to meet you. I'm here to speak to you about students, obviously, and I know it's a beautiful spring day outside, so I'll try to make it worth your while, even though you're stuck in here with me. But I hope it's not gonna be easy because I'm like competing against the literal sun, but maybe I'll win the sun anyway. I hope you guys still have not a good time, but at least something that I'll try to give you something to think about, so you don't think about the sun so much. This is my what I'm going to talk about, students and who they are really. You guys are students, so I think you know something about who students are, but I try to broaden your perspective a little bit from that. And also for the people in Porvoo, at least, who are in the stream, nice to see you guys too, or at least you see me and I don't see you, but I think you are there, so I wave to you guys too. And I think you know it already here in Helsinki, but the mics in the streaming stuff pick up noises. So if you say something stupid, they will hear it in Porvoo also. So be aware of that. My name is Eero. I'm a social policy advisor in SAMOK. SAMOK is the national organization for UAS students here in Finland. So my day job is to look out for you guys, or look after you guys, I'd say. I do stuff relating to healthcare, and general well-being of students, and also equality, and also some housing policy stuff. So I also know something about how student housing is built and stuff like that. But my main area of expertise is the healthcare system in Finland and how it affects students and how to make students healthy and happy and their well-being is, I try to make it up and down, and all kind of that. How do I do this? Well, my job is to know stuff. I know stuff and tell it to the right people at the right time. So I'm a lobbyist basically. What I do is I meet lots of politicians and government officials and try to tell them what to do in order to make students happy. So I try to lobby people that they write the right kinds of laws and stuff like that. So that's basically what I do. And I've never been a UAS student myself, so I'm a Master of Social Sciences. I graduated in 2016 in Turku, and I studied political science and contemporary history and some EU policy as well. So my main area of expertise is actually like politics and the government relations and stuff like that. So actually, I don't know anything about what is it like to study in Helga or in any UAS. So that's why this is interesting for me, I'd say, at least. But I think I know some stuff still. But I had to figure it out, and that's what I'm trying to tell you tonight. What have I figured out about UAS students that I didn't know before when I started this job 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. A little bit about Samok, my employee. So we are the national organization for UAS students. That's basically what we do. We are non-aligned, and we are an expert in education policy. So people listen to us, we know stuff, and politicians listen to us, and we are part of the lawmaking process. So if there's a committee in the Ministry of Education, for example, we are usually part of that committee and trying to make the laws better and for students. And we represent every student every UAS student here in Finland. There's a board who runs things, who are actual students. So there's actually one from Haga there also. His name is Anton. I don't know if you know him, but so there's students who actual students who decide what we do, and then there's 8 employees like me. So they pay us to do stuff and know stuff and help them. But what I like to stress out is that we are run by students, and that's one of our strengths. And we represent all the students, you also. So I should know something about you too also, and I hope I do. And what we do though there is in the board, we do advocacy stuff for the well-being and livelihoods of students and higher education in general here in Finland. We write statements and declarations, participate in ministerial committees, lobby people, stuff like that. So that's what I do for a living. But in order to do that lobbying, I need to know stuff, and now I'd like to try to make you know stuff more as well. Here's today's agenda. I'm going to show you some data on. I'd like to get you a quick overview about who students are actually, and then a little more data, a little deeper analysis, and some tips for your work. So first of all, as a tutor, I think you need to know something about students. It doesn't. Well, you are students, but it helps to know a little bit more than just what you yourself have. Your own experiences are helpful, but I think if you have some more information, it helps in your job. So that's why I'm here, basically. That's me in the corner. That guy over there. That's pretty much what Finnish students look like, right? That's the 1st of May. I think you know that's like the big student celebration here in Finland. We have the overalls and everything, and since we're celebrating, we have something in our cups. I can't even remember what it is, but it was good. That's me. I'm still studying. It's like 4 or 5 years old, this picture, and those are my friends. And if you Google students in English, you will find some other pictures, but if you Google student, the word for student in Finnish, opiskelija, that's pretty much the picture you will find in Google. So if someone says students, that's what people in Finland think about. People in overalls having fun, young, good-looking people like myself. Oh. No. And I think when I say students, this is pretty much the image you get in your head too. Am I right? Yeah, I see people nodding. But what I'm here to tell you is that you're wrong. That's completely wrong. Students are not like that. At least not all. And maybe not even the most of the students. And that's the my main message to you guys today is actually that you think you know students. You know those are students if you think, but actually students are not like that. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Because if you think students like this in the picture, you will do a bad job being a tutor, since your preconceived ideas of what students are will make you do a bad job. This is a little bit depressing, but that's what I do. There's a saying in Finnish that knowledge brings with it pain, so I hope you will get a lot of knowledge and maybe a little bit pain also. But why does this picture of students, why is it not correct in a way? Or why does it not represent students well? Well, first of all, as you can see, we are all white. And as you know, all students in Finland are not white. We're also all young, we're like in our 20s, I'm like 22 or 21 in that picture. And students, especially in the UASs, are not that young, usually. There's lots of older students. Also, there's a significant amount of students who do not drink alcohol at all, even though the Finnish student culture is filled with alcohol. There's actually statistics that I just read that 1 in 5 students have decided not to go to some student events, or have dropped out of student events completely because they are afraid that there's too much alcohol there. They don't feel that it's a good place to be since there's so much alcohol. Also, we are all like student actives in that picture. Me and all my friends, I was a tutor of myself in 2013, I think. And all my friends were tutors as well, and they were part of every student organization that there was on campus. We liked that. That was my main thing. I loved it. Being a student active and being in student organizations was like the best thing ever. I liked it. I got lots of new friends, and I liked doing everything that relates to being a tutor or being a student active or being in an organization for students. But what is actually common? It's not common to be a student active, Even though me and all my friends were student actives, well, most of students do not do stuff like that. It's not normal, You guys are not normal. It's not normal to be a tutor, And that's also a funny thing. Because for a long time I thought that students are like that. Students are like me. So when I was a student active and I was in this doing stuff in these organizations, or when I was a tutor myself, I thought it was easy, since students are like me. I do stuff that I enjoy, and they will enjoy themselves too. And that's why I think I was a bad tutor, because I was doing a job in a way that it was cool for people like me. But people like me, people like you, who like to be part of the student community, are not common. And when you do stuff, when you do your job for only people like yourself, then the people who are not like you will not like it. They will go to a few meetings and then they drop out, and they don't come to your group meetings, or they don't feel welcome or something like that. And that's actually the thing I'm trying to tell you guys today, because the main reason why there is tutors why does Haga Helia give you credits for doing this stuff and likes you guys, and why does Helga use quite a significant amount of money to like train you guys and make you good at your job. The main reason why that is done, because there are studies on students, and those students who feel that they are part of the student community, they are healthier, they graduate more quickly, they have lots of, they don't have as much like mental health issues or stuff like that. So that's basically the reason why you are doing your job, because getting people to be part of the student community well, gets them out of the school quicker, so they graduate more quickly, and they are also healthier, and then that's a good thing that people graduate as healthy, so they are ready to do their jobs for a long time and pay taxes and stuff like that. So it's really important that students who come to the universities are quickly sucked into the student community, and they feel that like they are part of it, because it's good for their well-being, and it's good for the UAS and for the universities, and it's also good for the whole society, because when they are healthy when they study, and they are healthy when they graduate, they are also healthy when they do their job, and they don't go to sick leaves and stuff like that. So it's important, and that's why you guys are doing this, and that's why I'm trying to tell you, if you do your job only for people like you yourself, and leave the rest of the students out of your activities, then they will eventually start dropping out, and they don't feel like they're part of the community. And that's something I like to. That's the point I'm trying to get across to you guys. And now I'll give you some data and try to make my point more clear. So first of all, like I said, not all students are like 19 straight from high school and came to the universities. No, there's actually a significant amount of like over 30-year-old UAS students. There's over almost 21,000 of them. Yes.
Is this all of Finland?
Yes, and all of
How
them.
many UAS students are there in general?
Something between 140 or 150,000. But this is especially so, well, I'm not good at math, so you can like calculate what's the percentage. But anyway, there's lots of them, and there's even more. Like there's people over 30, and there's people over 40, and there's even people over 50 who are studying. And when we do stuff only for the 20-somethings, those guys feel that they're left out. There's also, like I said, 10% of students who do not drink alcohol at all. And also there's the like 1 in 5 students who have decided that they don't like student events because there's alcohol there. And I'm not saying that like you have to stop alcohol at all, like completely. I'm not like saying no to it, but I think it's healthy to like say it out loud that alcohol has a part in Finnish student culture, and sometimes it's not a good thing. Sometimes it is, but sometimes not. So that's a thing to think about. And the people who, like the 1 in 5 who don't like to go to student events because there's alcohol, they're not like absolutists. They are not going there because there's alcohol at all, but they are not going there because there's too much of it. Everything revolves around drinking. That's the problem in everything. And it's not like, that's actually not like true. Now, there's plenty of stuff that doesn't revolve around alcohol, but it's the common misconception, and it's something that usually the orientation week festivities kind of hold up this picture, or they enforce the stereotype of like binge drinking and like American Pie kind of stuff. And then 25, what's the number in English? 21, yes. 1 in 5 again. 1 in 5 UAS students has children, and that's something that you don't like think about. That it's the number is quite high, and if you do this job of tutor only to people like you when you're, and then you usually exclude the people who have children. And you have to think about those things too. Also, there's, like you guys know, there's plenty of foreign students here doing a degree in English or maybe even in Finnish, but they're not Finnish citizens as such. Then there's also like the exchange students over 10,000. So there's like over 30,000, 30 to 40,000 foreign people here, people who do not speak Finnish. And in this picture, the first picture, we all speak Finnish. And I was like, well, yeah, there's some exchange students, but I never see them. Maybe there's not so much of them, but there is, that's a high amount. And in Helga, it's even higher. And well, you guys know it since maybe I think none of you, or is there someone who like speaks English, speaks Finnish as a mother tongue? As a few. Oh, everyone. Okay. But anyway, well, you know that there are foreign students anyway here. So here's a terrible picture. Well, it's a good picture, but I didn't have it in English, so I just tried to like write something down in English. But this is like this picture shows to you that there's the UAS students are a colorful bunch of like different people. We did this study. It's just a few months old, and we asked UAS students that all kinds of questions, and this was one of them. Do you feel different? And there was some options for them, and there's like 6% of people feel they are different in appearance. They have different skin color, or they have different clothes, or something like that. Or there's a different religion or some ideology that they feel that they are different from the rest of students. There's 1% of students are over 50 years old. There's 10% of those who have a differing sexuality or gender identity. There's, even though most of students, or at least in the stereotype, the students are like over 20 something, but there's also 19 and 18 or even 17 years old people here, quite a lot. And there's differing ethnic backgrounds, and there's lots of people who have disabilities or long-term illnesses. Most of those you can't see. Of course, if someone has a wheelchair, you see that. If someone can't hear well, you don't like see that. And stuff like that. So the main idea in this picture is to get the point across that students are a colorful bunch, and there's like there is no average students, because UAS students are the main characteristic of UAS students is that there's so many kinds of UAS students there. It's hard to like make a one example of who is a UAS student. Well, this is just to remind you that there's also differing what students did before they came to university varies quite a lot. And why I'm showing you this picture is that the thing that you did before you came to UAS or to higher education, actually that has a big effect on how your studies go and how quickly you graduate and stuff like that. So it has a bigger effect than your gender or the field you're studying in. So it's important to know. Maybe you guys even should ask, well, what did you guys do before you came here? Because the situation in life that you have when you start your studies affects how you can study and how you can find friends and stuff like that. So that's important to know as well. Here's some general statistics. So basically, in general, there is like pretty much even amount of females and males, but it differs quite a lot in different fields. So in STEM or technology and logistics and stuff like that, like 80%, over 80%, 4 in 5 students are male. And in like social and healthcare circles, it's the vice versa, so most of them are female. And this has an effect. Think about being a female in a tech class, or when basically everyone else is male, or vice versa, being a male in a social and healthcare class. That has an effect on you and how how easy it is to find people, find friends, and how easy it is to feel a part of the student community if you're part of the minority gender there. So that's something that you also have to think about. You can't leave gender out of the picture because it's something that affects a lot, affects your how do you feel part of the community and how you find friends and stuff like that. And if your tutor tells chauvinistic jokes or says something that all female are this and that, or all male are like that and stuff like that, or they tease you, why are you a nurse even though you're male, stuff like that. Even though it's a joke, it reinforces the feeling that you're not part of the student community, or you're someone, you're weird in a way, and that's not like, that does not help you trying to be part of the community. And also that even though the median age of students is 25, there's a huge variance on that. Like we saw in the picture, there's over 50-year-old students and over 30-year-old students. There's a massive amount of them, and then there's also those who are under 20. So also the age factor is something that the stereotypical image of students is also always the 20-something dude, or female, but there's a huge variance on that. This is just because the elections are coming on. I like to show this thing that has politics in it too. So if you had to like, if you ask this question, who are UAS students, and you have to like make a stereotypical UAS students, this is what we get. There's like a female version who are like that, and then there's males who are like that. That's a huge oversimplification, but it helps you to like get a picture who students are, I think. But so that's a simplified version of who you guys are. But as you have already learned, there's a huge variance of stuff. So there's all kinds of people here, and I like to stress it out because it's especially true in UAS students. In universities, it's much less. So they are from there's more people from a similar background, so to say. But in UASs, we come from all around the social ladder and everything like that. But that was like the like a broad picture of what's going on. So who students are. So now you know some like statistics on that, and then you know that there's a huge variance on who students are. But I don't. That's helpful for you guys. So I hope it helps to like open your eyes that all students are not like you, and that's the thing you have to like write down on your notebook and remember all the time. So don't do your job just for you, but do it or people like you. Don't do the same mistakes that I did, but take into account there's lots of different people. Okay, then a deeper analysis. I'll show you some stuff about social relationships and the sense of belonging in the student community, because that's important. That's like I said, it's if you feel that you belong to the student community, you are healthy and you graduate more quickly and stuff like that. And then I talk something about minorities, and then I can't remember if the situation in life is there. But let's go. First of all, I like to start from the second one. So 21% of students are stereotypical students, like the ones in the picture I showed you. They're social. They feel that they belong to the student community. They are active members of the student organizations, and they are tutors. They are like you guys. You guys are part of the 21%, basically. But that's just that's just a fifth of the students are like you, and the rest of you are not. The rest of the students are not like you. So once again, you are not normal at all. It's not normal to be here in this dusty room when there's sun shining outside and stuff like that. So I'm not saying that I'm joking, of course. So this is an important job, and it's good that you guys are here, but it's good to remember that most of the students do not enjoy stuff like this. and don't do it, and don't use their free time to do stuff like this. Then there's the first one. Like almost half of the students, they have lots of friends, lots of social relationships, but they are mainly outside the student community. So they have friends, but they are not in the campus, and that's something that I find weird, because all my friends were at the campus. They studied the same stuff that I did, and I saw them every time. My circle of friends were at the campus, but like almost half of people, they don't have like social lives on campus. They have their own friends somewhere else. Maybe they have, I don't know where they are, but anyway, their friends are not here in the campus. But then the two last ones are something that I like you to take note of, since 21% of students only have a few close friends. They have just a tiny amount of friends, and they are really not active at all, and they don't like feel that they're part of the student community. And then there's 12%, that's a high number, I think, of students who are lonely. They're completely outside the student community. They don't have any friends here or on the campus or everywhere. And that's a number that I am afraid of. That's something that I feel that we should do something about. That's a number that tells me that the student movement, all of us have failed in a way, since there's such a high amount of people who do not feel that they are part of the student community. They are not, for some reason they feel left out, or they're just never felt that they are part of it. And that's something that I like that you guys, since you're tutors, you should remember this, because it's not your job to like completely make this number to go to zero. It's not your job completely, of course. You don't have that kind of responsibility, but you can do something about that number, because you're the forerunners, or you're the first line of defense or something. You're the ones who see all the students, and you're the ones who meet them when they are trying to get to be part of the student community. You're there you're there welcoming them in. So you have a chance to do something about that number. It's easy to get people like me to be part of the student community, because I was on board already. I was like, yeah, you guys rock. I want to be like you, and it was easy. And now here I am. I get paid for doing basically the same thing, and it was easy to get me to like this, like you guys, and I like my tutors, and I was part of everything we did, but I was easy. But those guys who do not feel that they are part of, they are those quiet ones, and those who don't speak to you guys, or are even a little bit they actively try not to speak to you in a way, and those are the guys that you have to try to get on board, and that's the hard part of your job, and that's why I'm saying it's a job. You're not doing just for fun. You also get credits for it, and it's a job. So that's what I hope you guys do. You try to get those people on board who are not easy to get on board. Try to get those who are not easy. You gotta catch them all, like in the Pokemon stuff. Because that's our job. We decided to be part of the student movement, which decided to be one of those who organize stuff, and most of it is fun. We get to do all these amazing things and meet amazing people and have friends, but also it means that we have to do something in return. We have to try to get those who are not easy to get on board. We try to get them on board, because if we do not, then they are at risk of getting lots of negative impact on that. Because if you are not a part of the student community, there's a huge risk that you don't graduate on time, or graduate at all, or that you get mental health issues and stuff like that. So that's why I'm preaching you about this thing, because it's important. It's important for the student community itself, for every one of us, so that the student community is as diverse as possible. But it's also good for the individual people who you get to you make effort and get them on board. They get more friends and they get more stuff for them. Their well-being is better and stuff like that. And it's also good for the UAS, because those people graduate more quickly, and it's good for the society as well. So it's an important job. Then 26% of students feel that they are part of some minority, sexuality or ideology or ethnicity or something. It doesn't matter what the actual minority is, but they feel like they're part of a minority in the student community, and that's quite a big number. Usually when I talk about minorities, I do this equality where people are like, well, yeah, they're minorities, but it's just a minor issue. But I'm saying it's not. There's a huge amount of people who feel that they are part of some minority, and if you don't take that into account, then you're in risk of losing all of them. And here's some why I'm talking about this, because those people who will feel that they are part of some minority, they are at a greater risk of experience teasing or sexual harassment or discrimination or stuff like that. They are those who are lonely, who are at risk of being lonely. There's three groups in this. There are people who have health issues, and that's why they're part of a minority, and there's sexual and gender minorities and ethnical and religious minorities. It's just a way of categorizing them. But what you need to learn from this picture is that those who are a part of a minority, they are already at risk just for being a minority, and then if they are actively or passively excluded from the student community, it raises the risk even more. So you have to think about minority issues also. What does this mean? Well, if you are a racist, then those people who are part of a ethnical minority are not going to like it, you know. And or if you are being something else, you're being homophobic or just as a joke or something like that. It's even just one joke might lead to a conclusion that this dude or lady will not come to your meetings anymore. So I'm not saying that do not tell jokes at all, but think about what kind of jokes you are telling. Since you're a tutor, you're a leader of some sort, and they look up to you, or at least because they're coming to the university, they are trying to mimic you. You're the first thing that tells them what is it like to be a student, what is it like in the student community. So you're kind of a calling card of student community, and if you are a jerk, then they think that, well, maybe this thing is not for me. And don't be jerks. That's lesson number one. Maybe the only lesson, but there's a reason for not being a jerk, and that's on the board right now. Those who belong to a minority, they face 3 times more harassment and discrimination and stuff like that. So that's why I'm talking about minorities. Minorities are not like some small issue, but it's a big thing, and they are the ones that are at risk, and that's why we have to be especially. We cannot be ignorant of this fact. So don't forget that they are minorities, and they are people who are already feeling that they are not part of the group. And if you actively make the group even more hostile towards them, then bye-bye for them. They are not going to be part of your group anymore. This is a graph from our study as well. It's how much they are feeling, how much different minorities have experiences of harassment on campus. And then there's quite a lot of it, and especially I'd like to point out the one in the middle. Those who have a disability or a long-term illness, they don't have the red one. Is like you have it all the time, you get harassed all the time, and yellow is like you get harassed pretty much like not all the time, but quite a lot. And then the green one is that you get harassed sometimes. And that those who have a disability or a long-term illness, they don't get active discrimination all the time, but they get some, like every once in a while. And what does that mean? It means that there's people are not being jerks for them. They have like accepted that maybe people have some disabilities and it's pretty much okay, but there's some structural stuff that makes those people feel that they are not part of this community. They try to come to this lecture and they see that there is no way to get here on a wheelchair, or they come here and someone is lecturing and they don't have a microphone, and if you have a hearing disability you will not hear them, or they come here and I speak only Finnish and you don't understand at all, stuff like that. So just an example, but well, you don't need to like remember this graph at all, but what or entirely, but what it represents is that there's harassment on campus, and those who are part of some sort of minority get harassed more often. The harassment comes both from students and also from the staff, so it's both of them. I have some tips for you at the end. I have no idea how long I've been speaking here. Well, pretty much a good while, I think. With great power comes great responsibility. Remember that you guys have power. You are leaders. You're tutors, so you get great power and great privileges because of that. But also there's responsibility. And remember that. Some tips for you. Like I said, you are not normal. You are not like most students, but you have to help all kinds of students. So remember that one, and don't think that everyone is like you, and this makes it easier for those people to like you, because if you think everyone is like you, you accidentally start speaking only to those who are like you, because you don't think about this stuff. But when you actively remember that there's people who are not like you in these groups, you remember to be more polite and take them into account as well and stuff like that. And those who need you the most are the ones, or not the ones who seek you the most. I'll give you an example. Me, when I came to the university and was with my tutor and the group, I was the easy one. I talked to the tutor all the time, and I asked her that. When is this happening and what can I do and can you help me and stuff like that. I was an easy case, but those who need the tutor the most do not ask the questions, or sometimes they don't even show up, and that's a challenge for you guys. But remember to also use your time and your mental energy to those who are not easy. And like the main point behind all of this is that equality is not a philosophy. No, wait, it is a philosophy. It's not a project. So what I mean by that is that you have to take it into account all the time. You can't just decide that, well, today I'm going to be equal to all, and then forget it the next day. Or I'm going to be equal to you guys while we are on campus, but when we see each other in the bar, I can be myself. Well, I can be myself, and myself means I'm a jerk. Well, don't be that. So remember it all the time in everything you do. And it sounds like a big job, but it's not. It's actually just remembering that you are not normal, and that's pretty much the first step in being equal. When you decide to remember to treat people in a way that you remember that not everyone is the same. That's basically it. That's the thing you have to remember. But it's easy to forget, and I didn't know that for many years. Only when 2.5 years ago, when I got this job, I started to, because I've never been in a UAS before. I was a university student, not a UAS student, so I didn't know anything about EOAS students. And what I had to do, I had to look up, I had to find data and statistics and check out who are these guys really, who I'm trying to work for, I'm trying to make a better life for. And what I found out was that my preconceived idea, my stereotypical image of students was completely wrong. And I've been doing during that time I had been part of all kinds of student organizations and being a tutor and all that for many years. And I realized that I had been doing my job. I was bad at my job, even though I thought I was good, because I had been thinking about that everyone is just like me, and they are liking the stuff that I like. No, I was not normal, and you guys are not normal as well. So remember that. And I think that was it for me. And there's still time for some questions or some comments if you have some. If not, that's okay too. And I don't know if people in Porvoo can get any questions here. What?
They can, but no questions so far.
Yeah, but if you have questions or like to hear me speak, there's my Twitter account. I speak fluently only, I tweet only in Finnish and in GIFs, so maybe some memes too, but basically in Finnish. But if you want to see what I say, please follow me on Twitter and stuff like that. And also, if you have questions on these issues later, you can ask me or you can ask people at Helga. They will help you, of course. You don't have to do this alone. They will help you if you have questions. But also, if you have questions relating to not just what I talk to you about today, but anything relating to student healthcare or student health or well-being or equality or student housing or anything, student allowance, anything like that, we are the ones that know about it, and we can help you also. And if you have questions or ideas that what laws in Finland are stupid and need to be changed, please tell us that too, because that's what we do. We change laws, and we are quite good at it actually. So feel free to check out what we do and also give us some feedback, and I'm here for you guys. You guys basically pay my salary, so that's why I'm here. I don't know how to stop. I just keep on speaking for some reason, but
Okay. Thank you, Eero. We appreciate that. Let me just put my bubble gum in there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, thank you, Eero. We have 5 minute short break, so if you need to go to the bathroom, please do it now. Guys, I will start at 3 o'clock. And if you're not going to the bathroom, get up, do a little gymnastic movements, have some water, and so on, so you'll be ready for the next speaker. Thank you.
Let's go sunbathing, like later.
Did you smell the shit?
Oh yeah, it's not.
Joo, minä sanoin sulle, että eikä. No jos on hirveä tästä vasta 4 tauko, niin. Joo, ei. Voit sä linkkaa tuon sun blogin mulle? Niin? Yes. Kiitos paljon. Siellä on kahvipresso. Joo, meidän pitää keittää se. Joo. Meidän pitää keittää se kahvi tuolla pihalla. Joo, se kai saa. Jos sitä tapahtuu. Niin, ei oo mitään väärin. Ei ainakaan. Ei, mutta se on ollut niinku. Mutta se meni sinne suuntaan. Koska se menee sinne keittiöön. Sitten se on ihan
Let's start being weird about it. Yeah? I'm weird. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
You're going over that?
Yeah, he is loud.
You live in the wrong row?
saada videolle yhtä aikaa vuorossa.
Joo.
Ole hyvä. Kuuluu hyvä. Jos joku muu tehis, itse ei jaksaa semmoista paskaa
Silleen mä laitan yleensä niinku banaania ja mustikoita ja kaikkea. Joo, no.
Ei se voi sanoa puuroa.
Niin, mutta se on perinteinen. Anna puuroa.
Mites riisi? Ei mene.
Mitä Porvoa mieltä puurosta? Kuuleeko se näitä vielä?
Kai ne kuulee.
Hyvä. Missä ne vastaa näitä puurokysymyksiä?
Mulla osattiin laittaa vastaan.
Okei.
Ei tullut tänne.
Jos tulee kommentteja meidän laulusta tai puurokeskustelusta Porvoossa, niin let us know. Thanks.
Didn't she say something about I was there. Yeah, there's a store right next to it, like right by
This whole week is pitäis ottaa sitten visahakemukset tehdä.
Vittu, kun mä oon tossa, ihan toi.
Sä olet skippaamaan missä tänne.
Sä et ei ihan kutsunut mua tähän. Ei.
Mä lopetin sun kutsumista sen takia. Mä en muista.
Mä varmaan kutsun ei, mä oon ihan vitu loppuun. Nää on niinku ihan vitu vaan. Mä niinku rakastan sitä. Mä rakastan sua yhtä paljon kuin Oona ja Nea.
Nyt on semmoinen hetki, kun varmaan.
Se oli lisää sen Oonan rakkauden ja sitten Nea, mitä mä rakastan.
Virota valvoa kanssa. Is your coffee yet? Just get this.
Hello. We're starting, so please, let's listen what Kaisa wants to share with us.
Okay. I was trying to make things easier, just delivering some papers and pens over there. I hope Porvoo has those as well. So, nice to be here again. I was here last time on Tuesday for the Finnish tutor training, and now here in English. And good for you that you're still alive. Did you start an hour ago or 2 hours ago or?
Yeah.
1 hour ago. Oh! And you have to go till 4, 5? 5, okay. You're almost halfway. So, yeah. And the coffee is waiting. I think it's going to be a 4, so don't worry. You're going to survive from this. Yeah. So, I'm going to talk about student and sense of community. Something is nicely abstract and something that you can kind of know that you feel it that it is or is missing, but how to describe it. So while you're waiting for the coffee, it's a nice little exercise for all of us. But to make it a little bit easier, I thought that we can start with these papers. So Porvoo, I hope you can find some papers over there and pens as well. So divide the paper into halves. I mean, you can draw a line or whatever way. And then let's wait a while that you can all get the papers ready. You need first the other half. And then with the other half, now in your mind, go back to the time that you heard. Did I, by the way, introduce myself at this point?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So let's have just a small break. Yeah, I'm Kaisa Isohettoa. I'm the university chaplain here. Is Helga. I have an office at Pasila campus, and I'm for everyone. So if you ever feel like talking about anything, I'm available. And the discussions are, well, how to put it? I'm bound to confidentiality. So that means that whatever is being talked with me stays there. I'm not going to write anything down. I'm not going to put any marks in anywhere that someone has visited me. So that's very much everything is set and talked in there. I mean, the healthcare workers is also very strong confidentiality, but I would say that pastors have even stronger. That means that if something is told to me and I'm invited to court or asked to go to court and have a witness there, something people ask me, I'm not allowed to tell the things that I've been told in these confidential discussions. So I mean that's how safe it is. There's only two things. If I'm told in these discussions that someone is going to kill someone, I mean going to kill, not done it, but going to do it, I have to do everything possible to prevent that by not telling who the person is. So in that, even that case, the person is, how would I say, safe. Then there is the question, well, it's a Lutheran church, and you know the pound with the state, it goes long back to the 16th century. So if I'm told in these discussions that someone's going to make, what's the English word? Betray the country. Treason. Thank you. Then again, I have to do everything possible to prevent that, but not let them know who the person is who was telling to me. And nowadays, there was a few years ago, gay cases about incest. You know, yep, everyone knows. Explain it. Excellent. So those are also things that even in the pastor's confidentiality is so that I have to, if I know something like that is happening, I have to do something, or whatever how the law puts it, but to do it so that it would end. But again, if that is told to me that it has already happened and it's not happening anymore, then the discussion is safe. I mean, but asking me to court and witness, I cannot talk anything. So, thus this long story to explain the confidentiality. Yeah, it took a lot of time, but I hope this a little bit woke you up that, yeah, life is interesting. Okay, so now back to the paper. With that first half, go back to your, go back in time, the moment that you heard that you have had, or you have received a place at Helga. And no, it doesn't tell you anything more. So look around you and that moment. Who do you see? Who you spend time with, and what kind of communities do you belong to? So draw yourself in the middle of the paper. I mean that half of the paper, and put your name in it. Make a circle in it, and then draw lines of all those peoples and communities that you belonged to at that time. Okay, raise your hand if you still need some time. Okay. Okay, now everyone ready? Pretty much so. Excellent. So the next thing is go the other side of the paper. So I mean, not don't turn it around, but I mean, say so that you can see the side that you have already drawn.
Like on the same side of the
Yeah.
paper, but next to it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So I mean, how would I do it? Yeah. If you have the thing in this side, then use this side. So don't turn it. I mean, point is that you can see them both at the same time. And then look this moment. What kind of, I mean, the same questions. What communities, what people are around you at this moment, at this point? Raise your hand if you still need some time. Good, everyone is ready. I have two microphones, not microwaves, microphones, to try to be a stubble because all the Helga people, I guess, went to make coffee. So, and we need Porvo to hear you, so I mean, that's why we need two. My question is, let's not yet use, are you available?
No, I can bring it back and forth if you need to.
That would be great. Then I can kind of go back. Yeah, but the first thing, you don't need to do it yet, because I kind of forgot what I was actually going to do first. Because first, so that you can really see the differences, I think it's good to have a little bit talk with your neighbor. So turn to your neighbor or do it in 2, 3 groups and look the differences. What have changed? And Sue. Okay, have all had the chance to say something? No, not yet. Okay, let's have one more minute. Okay, I believe this would be something that it would be nice to talk a little bit more, but the time runs, and I think the coffee time is coming, so I would really much love to hear something that you've noticed, especially the differences. And now we have the microphone. Who wants to start? What did you notice? Any differences? Were they all the same? No? So what had changed? Excellent, excellent.
So I guess.
What's your name?
Oh, so, hi, my name's Guy. You can't see me in the camera, but you probably heard me talking yesterday. And when I found out I got into like this uni, I was already in a different degree, and I hated it. So when I got the news that I got into this one, I was relieved. And right now, I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm enjoying it. So it's like, oh, it's all good. Nice.
But did your groups, were they all the same, or was there any differences in those people that you hanged out and spent time and?
Yeah, I mean it's a little different, but like, I mean I guess it happens. I still have like the same roommate and the same like group of friends from before, but I also have new friends, so it's just a little bigger, I guess.
Okay. Who else? Did anyone, let's see, oh, you have, okay, yeah, good, go ahead.
Oh yeah, do I have to say my name? Okay, yeah, so my name's Katarina, and before I was a big loner, but that was because I had recently moved to Helsinki and didn't know anyone, so I had like 3 hours a week in school, so I didn't get to know anyone, and then when I came here I found like really good group of friends and a good community, so, and loving life and being the beautiful social butterfly that I am.
Okay, thank you. Does someone else want to? You obviously have a good spirit here. That sounds good. Let's put it this way: that how many of you did live already in Helsinki when you heard the information that you're gonna go to Haga? Okay, less than half. Almost half, but not quite. But I think that is important to remember also when you think about your coming tutor group. Most likely, there's going to be something like that. Some have already lived in Helsinki before, know the places, and others have just arrived and are wondering what on earth is this place. How many of you did live in Finland before? Lived in Finland? I mean, so it seems like almost all. So does that mean that no one lived outside of Finland? Few. Okay, good. Because I would think that there is going to be this difference as well in the group. That there is those who have just arrived for the studies at Haga to Helsinki and to Finland, and those who have lived other places in Finland before. So I mean, thinking about your group is going to be mixed of all kind of things, or all kind of backgrounds, even in that sense. What usually happens when you start studies is that the social relations change. I mean, well, yeah, but it depends from the situation. That have you started when you come to Haaga-Helia, have you studied somewhere, some other applied university or university before, or have you just like done high school or things like that? I mean, the shift from to higher education, from the secondary education, there is a difference, and you might also have those in the group, and then you have those who have already been in the higher education but just changed the school. Anyway, whatever. Usually the tutor group is the first community in Haaga-Helia, and those who come to the group might have a lot of expectations. I have this nice. Okay, good. I don't need to use them. So looking at the academic years, and now let's talk about more like Haaga-Helia, but yeah, taking the mind that some have had kind of studied the academic, should I say academic study career. If you mean what I, do you understand what I mean? That the higher education kind of might have started earlier. Usually that is a time that in life many changes happen. And it's moving away from parents, learning to kind of be independent, and that challenges you in many ways. Also, it's a point when many times you think about that was part of the studies. What do you want to be when you're big? Or you grow up? What do you want to be? What kind of life you want? So all these things are going in the student's mind. Well, you know, but most those new students are kind of just starting to think about it, and many times that it can kind of cause or explain some of the things that happen or people behave oddly because they don't know yet how to behave. I remember when I started my studies, well, a few years ago, one of my fellow students said, that was very early in the fall, that yeah, he has realized that when you drink a lot of water, you kind of lose the feeling of hunger. Well, I mean, he probably didn't have before that being away from home, and now that was, so I mean, obviously he learned that quite quickly that the water is not enough, but yeah. The statistics show that mental health problems among the high education students are a very big thing. I mean, it is a big thing. I mean, there's a lot of cases, a lot of situations that the students ask help. So, in that sense, the sense of communality, the sense of belonging to something, can often help. Well, I mean, just if you have a big mental problem, it's not a solution, but it's something that can support you. I don't know if Eero, that you was here before, did he talk about anything about loneliness? Yeah. Because that is one of those things that it seems that no matter of the group that you come from, are you social or not, the loneliness often comes there. And in that sense, you have a very important role to play as well. I mean, not to solve this question, it's not something, but you are the ones who kind of make the first rules, or kind of give the first hints at how people behave in this school. Do we greet people when we meet? Are we friendly, or are we just annoying others? What kind of atmosphere is here? And so in that sense, you have a strong, you have a power, you have possibility to influence what those new students, how they see this place. Oh yeah, don't forget, studying is more fun together. Yeah, that's a good point. but part of it is this sense of community that is grown. This is something that I found. I found that it's easier to read than just expect that everyone reads it. So, the relationship between the individual and society is based on a feeling of community. It keeps societies together. Communal spirit, communities, and communal life are necessary precursors of human existence and action. Traditionally, people have regarded their family, relatives, village, and tribe as their community. Communal spirit can thus be linked to place or theme. However, urbanization has increased anonymity, and many city dwellers have lost their sense of community. Modern tribes are created around common hobbies, ways of thinking, or activities in the virtual communities of the internet. I think the ending is quite interesting because, well, I have a son who is 9 years old, and you know what's the game that he plays? And you know, you can play it at 5 o'clock in the morning. That was one thing that we learned just a few weeks ago, and well, we had this winter holiday and we were away, so he had a possibility to play, and all the friends were about to gain a next level, and he was behind. So one morning, or more like night, and I mean that was school night, we realized that he had put his bell ringing at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. Now we have new rules. So he has only 2 hours a day to play. But yeah, anyway, we are willing to pay more than that he has to use the time. But anyway, so what I've noticed with him especially that, yeah, community can be made in many ways. And I guess there's good sides in that as well. But still, when you start in a new place, you have to, you have really nice pictures there or something kind of related to theme, because I assume you are connected to something. Yeah. Yeah, that's the reality today. I know I had also a very interesting discussion before coming here into Facebook. I would much like to look it again at the moment, but I guess it can hold for an hour. Anyway, so in that sense, the internet and all the possibilities that it gives, it has also made it easier to get connected. But in the same times, as Eero told you, the loneliness exists. So even though we have all the possibilities to look the phones during the lectures and everything, it seems that we are feeling lonely. We are around people that are feeling lonely. And you, again, has the possibility to make a little change in that. I mean, you're not alone, but anyway, you have a possibility to do something. Did Eero told you about the minorities?
Yeah.
Yes, because I think that's also in here. The tolerating the difference is something which I think comes very real in the tutor group, because the only connecting thing might be that they are freshmen, they're new students, and they're students at Helga. That might be the case. I mean, there can be other things as well, but that might be the starting case, and there might be very variety of opinions. So your task is also kind of facilitate this reality of differences. one more point about after today, I guess one of the things that you will remember, that the loneliness and together is better, because this is the Charlie Sudamore, no idea how it's pronounced, has studied about mental health and the loneliness question, and found that kind of, well, the words illness and wellness, that when you're alone you might feel more sick than when you are with people. There is a funny way of that. The feeling of the community, feeling of belonging to something makes you healthy. I mean, it's not that simple, but at the same time there is something in it. So just to there's this saying in Finnish that when you share your happy things, they come bigger. But when you share your sad things, they come half of the size. So maybe that is something connected with this. When you have people around you, then you can share things and you can trust. Compassion and empathy is, I think this is pretty much the last thing that I want to tell you before we have some doing again. But something that I think it's important as a tutor to realize the difference, because empathy is something that you kind of take the person's feelings to yourself, and you kind of feel them yourself as well. And I mean, that can be very, very stressful and hard. So what I would recommend in a tutor group, and I guess in life in general as well, it's a good hint, that use compassion. Not empathy, but compassion. Compassion is it's kind of flowing chain of action and reactions. And it's something that there is this will of doing what is best for the other one. But it's not taking yourself the other one's pain. But it's trying to think that what could we do that would make you feel better? Or like as a tutor, what kind of hints or hints, with hints I mean giving advice is that, well, there's all kind of people in Haaga or in Helsinki that you can go to talk to if you have whatever problem, depending the problem, of course. If there's something that the academic advisor, is that in English, the OPO? Yeah, I think so, yeah. You can go to talk to, but not, he or she doesn't solve everything. I know they're very, very occupied in the beginning of the year. So there's other places as well. Or if you have some mental things, then there's a nurses and psychiatric nurse, and well, we have actually 2 of those, and what's the study psychologist? Yeah, isn't that in English? Okay, yeah, good. And then me, who you can come to talk as well. So give these hints. I have an experience about when the new students come in fall and spring, that tutor groups go around the campus and showing the places, and I mean that's very good because that makes it easier and more concrete to see what kind of places there is. And of course, there can be other things that as well that the students can need help. Always the best way to know what the student or the new student needs is to ask. Don't assume, ask, and then you know. Oh, there's a saying again, choir singing makes life longer. I don't know if the Finnish saying, I don't know. I don't think I've heard it in English, but I wanted to translate it in English here. I think you heard all that. As a tutor, few hints. Give equal attention to everyone. And I mean, when you have, for example, meeting, don't the groups are about 10 or so, aren't they? Yeah, so quite big. And so it's rather easy to be very quiet in a group if you want. So you as a tutor kind of look that everyone has a chance to say something. But but you don't need to solve all the problems of the new students. So kind of support them to take their responsibility of study life, but introduce new things and give hints. And ask them to join all the possible good things that is happening in the beginning of the year. And then create positive we spirit. Not only in the group, but also I think in Helga Tutors. That's something that you can create by also with words. Because today's world, with words we can create reality. Saying that saying positive things about people around you and in Helga Tutors and in the group. You can say positive things you can, one of the things just came to my mind, if things seem difficult, you might want to try to figure out something positive about all of the persons in your group and say that to them and see what it causes or what it brings. Okay, the coffee is about to come. Half an hour. You're going to survive. And to make it easier, I have a case. I have a case to you to work on it. So let's see, it's about It's about 30, a little bit less. Maybe groups of 5 about would do. So you all have possibility to say something, not just listen when everyone else is talking. So I'll give you instructions first, and then you can make the groups and work. So there is a case. Tutor group has come together for the second time. Talking is difficult and feel easy. Everyone is present. However, the members of the group seem to be like chalk and cheese. Tutor group and the study place seem to be the only common denominators. What kind of feelings you have when starting the third meeting? How do you encourage yourself and the group for the third meeting? And of course you can think about what you do in the second meeting as well. Things feel like that. So I think what you as a tutor can do to kind of bring the spirit in the group. And you have these papers, so you can write them down, something, and then we collect them in the end. So let's say quarter till, according to that clock. Quarter till, you have time, and the groups of 5. And I hope in Porvoo you have find your groups as well and work.
No, mitäs jos me ottaisiin tyhjällä pullolla?
Ymmärrän. Se on mikki tarkoitus. Mä ei jotenkin. Voi olla hyvä ja tulee joo, ne on 14 sitten 12. Sitten sen jälkeen. En muista, mutta vielä yksi. Sen verran pitäisi vielä jaksaa. Joo. Avaus ei oo ihan niin tarkkaa, jos... Myöhäisesti taas koko päivä nyt. Iltakouluun se täytetään 2. Sitten hyvä maanantai reissuun. Kivaa.
Jos on vastainen fiilis, niin minä hauskoja juttuja hengaa. Ilman alkoholia, mitä sä voit tehdä? Ylipäätään tehdä pelejä, leikkiä kivaa, ruokaa kivaa. Jos me käyn käsittäis kaikkea siitä, mikä ei näkisi mitään ruokaa siitä. Se kertoo tolleen. Joo, kyllä. Todellakin. Todellakin. Hei, tonne kamera eteen. Näytä sun hiistä. Okei, yksi jää. Sulla on hyvä huomioon päällä, niin kerro mulle mitä. Yeah. Whenever there's a tutors happening. That actually wouldn't keep the group together. It is
Okay, are you almost ready? 1 more minute? And if you're otherwise ready, you can think that what do you want to say for everyone else? And prepare for that. Yeah.
Te näette mut kyllä tossa.
Okay, it seems that the noise level is going down, so maybe that is kind of a hint that you are ready. I hope that is same in Porvoo, and maybe you can share in Porvoo or listen what people have here to say. So, what group wants to start? You. And you don't need to, in Finnish you say, like tell everything, but give at least few ideas that came to your...
Yeah, we have a discussion, maybe sauna came up. Well, it was Casey. Then
how would you use the sauna?
Just warm it up and just like basically hanging out evening or something like sauna. And then would be like going in for the small groups, person to person, like tutor freshmen, talking like middling with them, like straight after the second meeting, and also bringing in jokes, humor in particular. That would be it.
Sounds good. The humor is always...
It can be welcome.
Good. humor is, I think, is something that it's good to be sensitive. That is something that everyone enjoys, or it's something that embarrasses someone.
I usually use myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So for our group, we kind of decided that if it has reached that point that people just aren't feeling comfortable, that instead of kind of pretending everything is fine and just trying to make games happen or something, like you should bring up the kind of elephant in the room and kind of just bring it out that you can notice that people aren't really having fun, people aren't comfortable, and give everyone a platform to basically voice out their opinions of what's going wrong, make it make it so that people don't have to kind of keep the negatives with themselves, but make it easy to kind of bring them up and kind of deal with it that way. And also, if the kind of group discussion at that point isn't working, then you would have to resort to kind of talking to people individually and trying to that way find out what the source of the uncomfortable vibes are at that point.
Oh, good things.
Okay, so the most important things that we were talking about was encourage each other and don't get discouraged, even though like some methods don't work for everybody and there are different types of people. Try different approaches, fun games, and find something in common with the people. Yeah, those are the most important.
Good hints. Yep.
In our group, we have kind of just like be curious. Don't be afraid to ask. And, you know, of course, some people are not quite open books, but you know, just broad topics, hobbies and stuff. I know it's cheesy, but yeah. And then alcohol doesn't hurt either.
Yeah, nowadays I think it depends from the person, but when there is those also who for various reasons don't want to use alcohol. So, and I mean that might be one of the things that your group has different opinions, and that's a challenge, because for some that would be so easy way to get connected and hang around, and then if you have, especially I think if you have one in the group who doesn't feel that, it doesn't feel comfortable with the idea. The reason we don't know. Well, you can of course ask the reason, but anyway, if that is the case, then how would you solve that? But it can be also something else. Alcohol is only one example. But what I've been listening Helga's talks about and challenges about organizing all kind of not hobbies, but things to do. The alcohol is one of the challenges nowadays, because it used to be so easy earlier, but nowadays you also need to kind of take that in account, different reasons. You need to find other things as well. Long talk. Anyway, you got the point. Next one.
Right. Good evening. So we choose like a cheese, prosecco, and African tähti, or some other game also could be okay. And then the food, it increases the good mood. So basically, when people are eating, they are having fun. There's a discussion, and also if they don't want to speak and they are having their mouth full of food, it's okay also. Then there's Mammy, which is kind of like, everyone has an opinion about Mammy. Who likes Mammy? And who hates Mammy? Yes, two opinions. There's a discussion about thing, a lot. And also BBL, problem-based learning, it increases the discussion with people, because everyone needs to participate in it. Yes. Thank you.
Good, and I like the idea that you bring out the differences and you're willing to talk about them, because that is most likely the case in your group. that you have those differences. Yeah.
Okay, so basically most of the solutions were already discussed. We also came up with gathering together to organize some picnic so that alcohol is not necessarily involved, because you can prepare some different food and show some national cuisine, for example, so that brings people together and they are opening more, and then the communication levels are increasing. And grill and sauna was as well one of our ideas, and the group activities to break the uncomfort zones, like to help them to step out of the comfort zones so that they can see that people are different and no one is judging them, really. Like, we are all here to have fun and to know each other, to make friends, not to judge and hate, because it's, yeah. And then creating open and clear communication as a main, I don't know, point of all the gatherings, so that everyone can easily and safely say what they think, and it will be accepted. Simple as that.
Was that everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, you had a big group. Yeah. Thank you. You all had very good ideas, and I mean, this sounds promising to think about you as a tutors, because you have a lot of good ideas. And I think one of the options that you, of course, have, that if you feel that that the group has some tensions or something, which is absolutely normal. Very well might be some tensions. It's not so don't think that, oh, I caused it. No, it's very normal that in the group there is tension. That you can ask the other tutor, that you can, well, share your experiences, and also in some cases that let's do something together. That might also change the kind of how things are in the group dynamic. So sometimes that can also be good. Yeah. So it was nice to be here. Sounds very good. You're going to be excellent tutors, all of you. I believe that. You're still going to go to Kiljava to have a very nice time. I've been there a few times. It's a nice place to spend time and go to sauna, and maybe the swim. I don't know if there's still possibility. Well, it's not. I don't know. Well, you can make the hole in the ice, and yeah.
Probably
yeah,
not.
you can do it. You can kind of practice what it's going to be in the next fall. Yeah. So thank you very much, and have a good experience as a tutor. Important information, I think, is coming.
Yes. Very important things. So it's coffee time, as you already expected. So we're starting 15 past 4. Again, with the speakers. So please feel free to have coffee and cookies and was there somewhere else? Something else? Korppu?
Waffles.
And waffles, yeah, waffle cookies or something, however they're called. Hey, one task during the break, the same as you had yesterday, so mingle with 2 new people, but this time they need to be from a different campus that you are. Got it? Thank you.
Do you want to mingle?
So we have to mingle with you. Different. So you are from Pasila. Who is from somewhere?
I don't know.
Weren't you also from Pasila? What?
No, we're here.
You're here.
Okay.
Cool.
So everybody needs to hang out with those.
So yeah. Don't you leave.
Coffee.
Just se.
It's the Finnish main word.
Exactly, according to that guy.
Yeah, yeah, it was. It went.
Gotta get that free water.
I haven't talked to her yesterday, so.
Yes.
I've been like thinking of a lazy old antisocial stuff. I was at home. Lazy. Yeah. I will go outside. How about you? Walk. Long walk or just a walk?
Näin, mä olen matkustanut tuonne ulkoilmapuolelle. Kiitos, kun olit puhumassa.
To buy something? Yeah. That I didn't know. No, thankfully. You ready? Okay. Yeah. So then we have one left, yeah.
Jotain semmoista vissiin.
That's a problem because I even know what you have told earlier, but I think it's a. Do we have any? Because I think I need one secretary. Okay, but she can write there. So this is reinforced.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So yeah, how many participants are there? Do you know anything?
In the stream?
Yeah.
Approximately, well, under 10.
So, but is it so that when I speak here, okay? So do I need microphone?
Yes, you do need a microphone.
Yes, yeah.
It is right here.
Okay.
So please use that all the time. And your presentation is. No, actually, it's not here at all.
But I have my I have to my members.
Okay.
Or
let's wait that Thea comes because she's the one who coordinates this whole thing. Because all of the other presentations are inside this one big presentation.
Because I've sent it to her. Thea. Okay, I've sent it to her because I've changed something. So.
Okay. Well, let's see when she comes and let's discuss. What do you need to change or?
Yeah. I have to change, but So. Okay.
Just to check that it's updated.
Oh, it's not nice.
It's okay. This is where you put it. Just put that up. That's about it. That's actually a pretty nice microphone.
Hello?
It's not too bad to talk about it.
Yes.
Okay, so
Good.
Thea.
No, we'll come in a minute and just let her know.
Okay.
Joo.
Moi. Moi. So Thea.
Joo.
Joo, ja se, joo.
Me aukasen sen tosta kohta
Okei,
siihen.
joo, mulla oli vaan toi tikku varmuuden vuoksi, kun mä ajattelin, jos ei välistä.
Joo, me siirsin sen tonne meidän Drive-talteen. Okei, hyvä, koska mä katsoin, että sitä ei ollut tosta. Joo, me otin sen sieltä pois, kun siinä olisi mennyt hirveästi aikaa, että me olisimme kikkailussa. Niin, okei. Mut hyvä, että sulla on, sä tiedät kyllä, että mihin ne saa lyppi. Kut. Minkä mä tässä?
Eli täällä on nyt kaikki siis, täällä on
Englanninkielisten koulutusohjelmien
Tämä
tutorit.
oli ihan tylsä, mutta kun se tuli eilisestä, kun meillä oli täällä pääsykokeet, niin mä aloitan sillä. Joo. Tavallaan siellä on muutama opiskelija, että ne vois nyt koko usein, mutta oli vaan niin kuin mä ajattelin, että mä aloitan sillä parttina. Joo.
Ja sitten täällä on tosiaan tuolla kameran päässä niin on Porvoo.
Joo.
Sitten täällä striimin päässä niin he katsoo siellä.
Joo.
Et sitten on hyvä puhua mikkiin.
Joo, hyvä.
Siellä sitten.
Joo, hyvä. Niin täällä ei ole semmoista mikkiä, mitä no, se varmaan on sitten.
Tuossa on tämmönen langaton mikki, mutta et siinä on vähän se, että se klipsi saattaa jäädä vähän huonosti, että se ei sit ota sitä ääntä niin hyvin.
Okei,
Joo.
joo.
Ja sillä me ollaan annettu sit tää
Joo.
käsipalikko kaikille.
Okei, joo. Katsotaan tää aikaa. Mä en ole nyt niinku laskenut paljon, jos menee, mutta ei tää varmaan, tää on viimeinen sessio. Niinku.
Joo, sen jälkeen meillä on tutorileiri-info, että saat ottaa ihan oman ajan.
Joo.
No, jos menee vähän aikaa, niin se ei haittaa. Jos
Mä
menee
en muista
pitkään,
paljon, mulla oli tähän varattu.
puoli tuntia.
Joo, hyvä. Okei, se riittää. Koska mä nyt, onko se nyt ok, että mä vähän aktivoin näitä?
On.
Koska
Se on aina ok.
Joo, mä aktivoin, sitten pistän niinku joku voisi olla tossa sihteerinä. Mulla on periaatteessa tämmönen tehtävä niille, että miettii pari tehtävää. Lazy Mä mietin vähän, että se auki. Pistän vähän aikaa parissa miettimään. Se, että on se mahdollista. Mulla on nyt meille pitää mennä akademiikkaan pääsyä.
Joo.
Mitä he voivat.
Meillä on meillä oli
Joo, koska mulla on kanssa siis se sama niin nämä, mikä meillä on haasteena. Se oli keväässä.
Joo. Tässä on tosiaan paperi, jos tarvii. Meillä on sitten täällä kyniä, niitä voi jakaa.
Joo.
Saat ihan käyttää sitä,
Joo.
meillä on muistaakseni viidet ollaan silleen, että
How many like kuinka monta
ihan muutama.
Girl, are you fucking what?
Joo, siis on tossa ihan jotain niin. Tässä ei kyllä olla kyllä.
Onko tää lippu tällä?
Joo, pitäisikin. Kyllä.
Go back over this way.
Meillä on kaikki tiimiä, jotka kestää puoli tuntia on 8 puolinen tiimiä, se on sitten voi katsoa koulusalaa. Voitko samalla käyttää sitä? Koulusalaa. keskiviikkokousta. Ja tiistai keskiviikkokousta. Torstaina keskiviikon mä oon testannut aikaa 8-12. Torstaisin mä oon käynyt aamusta, nyt mä oon käynyt torstaisin neuvostossa 9. Mä oon käynyt myös päiväpuolesta sen jälkeen. Tiistaisin mä oon käynyt 3 jälkeen. Mutta siis niinku tosi harvoin siellä on mitään. Maanantai oli aina, niin tää maanantai oli eka kerta, kun mä kävin siellä jo joogameininki. Mutta siis niinku tiistai ja keskiviikko oli aina kertaa käynyt. Se on aina ollut. Joo. Se on ihan hyvin. Välillä mä oon aina välillä siellä välillä siellä joku business college on siellä. Se on välillä joku se on vaan enemmän vaarallisuus. Siellä on näitä alistusryhmiä. Siinä on vaan juosta sivusta. Niin kuin mä oon tehnyt koulussa paljon. Sitten mä myös käyn, niin tässä on näitä Helsingin seudulla näitä fitness 24/7. Mä en kyllä Pasilasta paljon. Mä itse asut missä siinä. Okei, se asut. Mä itse asun tuossa niinku Kuulolla. Aina mitä siellä toivoisin, niin olisi se on semmoinen niin kuin laite,
Please don't hit me. I have coffee.
I'm fine.
There is some serious.
No, let's take this. Do you game on this computer? What's inside it?
Oh my god, look at that ass.
Why are you touching
Hello, hello. Are we ready to continue?
Are we ready?
Yes, we are.
This is so English.
So there is Taina Pallonen. She is academic advisor and here you are, Taina. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. So, first thing could be that we can discuss a little bit of yesterday, because as you see there, we started early in the morning, and we have here 76 newcomers, we could say so. So it was quite hard day to you and to us too. So I like to ask some comments about yesterday. So as a tutor role, what kind of questions these newcomers asked you yesterday? And what was your role yesterday? I know here are students from Haga. They have helped a lot yesterday arrangements. So some comments?
Most likely they were asking whether the classes for interviews.
Okay.
And how is it to be a student in here? What do we like from school? And yeah, I think that was the two main questions they had. And we were guiding them all over the school with
Okay. So your role was mainly guiding them around the school. And how did you answer them? Because if they asked something about your studies.
Well, they saw us smiling and laughing all the time, so they are self-sure that we are happy here. That's true. So I feel that we are happy.
Okay, so your role, I think you were the first people they meet here, and of course they appreciate your comments quite a lot. Okay, that was really hard day to ask, and let's see. We have about 50 places here available in Haga Helia degree program in hospitality tourism experience management. So let's see. Something about myself. I work here as a student counselor. Hospitality tourism experience management is the program. And then I teach something related to accommodation business management. And I'm also a member of campus safety team, so I will have some presentation about safety rules here at Haga campus. Then I will also take care of internships, so I will be quite a lot of contact with the newcomers when they come here to Haga Helia. Something myself, okay, I'm interested in ice hockey. I'm not playing myself, but my son is playing. That's my favorite sport. And then I'm also interested in cycling and recycling, and my bicycle is recycled too. So something about me. Okay, so I think that I like to activate you a little bit, some questions here, because last year most of you were the newcomers, so you should think about yourself in the shoes of the new student. What kind of challenges does a new student face? There are some questions here, so maybe we could divide so that the first line here, you think about cultural background. Second row, you think about study methods. Third line, cultural differences. Okay. So how I will divide the rest?
They are having the rest.
Okay. Okay, so you here. Families are far away, and language barriers, which also it's a problem here. And then the last line there, study habits and money matters. Just think about a little bit. If you think about that you are in shoes of the newcomers, what kind of challenges are there?
Miksi teet? Onko se aitoa? Mä voin sen teetä. Sen takia mä olisin, että miksi? Mitä sä teet? Onko se hassu värissä tuosta pupista? Weird. Mitä se on? Joo.
Yes.
En tiedä kuka oli, mutta...
Then also Maya and also Moodle have different
A lot of people come to us before this,
we have to like
okay, are you ready? So maybe I have to come a little bit nearer to you, so some of you could comment something about first thing, cultural background.
We have
What
another
is-
microphone if you want me to
Okay,
go around.
yeah, that could be, yeah. So, first theme, cultural background. Yeah.
So, hello. We have here one person like who's not Finnish, and he said that like the student culture, it's it's very different compared to when it's in Asia, for example. And we have this like alcohol is such a big thing here, and parties as well. Like we don't have so many like club activities or kind of like extracurricular stuff. And of course, there's the language thing, and yeah, most people do speak English, but it might just feel super alienating just hearing everybody around you speak Finnish and you can't understand it. And of course, sometimes they're going to be like cliques in international group. If there are like several people from China or several people from Russia, there's just it's natural. They just tend to gravitate towards each other. It's like the language and similar like, cultural background, and that could, of course, it's good for them. Like they find this social circle, but it also kind of isolates them from the others, and it just might make them like less approachable by others. And then there's the like the entire thing about like how us Finns, like we really do not engage in small talk, and we don't talk to strangers, and we avoid sitting next to strangers on the bus, and like the whole sort of like field of social behavior, it's so different, and that might make some people feel weird. Like they just try to put themselves out there and go talk to someone, and then we'll be like, what is this guy doing? And why is he like coming within 1 meter of me? So yeah, we kind of like some things Finns do might just seem rude to others, and it just, especially if you're new to the country, that might be a really big cultural shock.
Okay, thank you very much. So, okay, study methods.
Next, yeah. Hi. So we defined that the most important thing is the time management and time planning. So the way you organize your time, because you really need to plan it in advance. So don't do it like in the last moment, for example, last minute. So do it a bit in advance, so you have some time to ask questions if you have any, or just like to continue doing something. So yes, this is the main thing. They also decided methods. We just decided that in some countries it's not that common for people to have everything electronic. Like for example, in Finland, everything is Moodle, in Pepi, in all other systems. So if you need to check something about the timetable again, about the assignments, the exam information, some materials, you can always find it in Moodle. So first of all, you need to check there before you ask your teacher, for example, because it can be annoying for them. I can understand that. So this is it. Then also what we had there.
Thank you.
No,
we had something else, right? There's like always something like, yeah, I don't know. You can ask, first of all, I can ask your classmates, like students, before you ask something from teacher if you have any questions. Because first of all, you'll make friends. So if you ask somebody else to help you, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will be happy to help. So this is how you can make friends, for example. So it's better. But if you don't understand anything like at all, of course it's better to contact the teacher. But so this is also a good study method. At least you can also get friends.
Okay,
yeah.
Thank you. So, okay, cultural differences. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, sorry guys, you gotta hear my voice again. So for cultural differences, we kind of had similar to cultural background. Like, I'm personally from the States, and I know some of my friends who are like from Brazil or something, so they're very open and they like to talk, and they can get also a bit touchy. But that like just belongs to the culture. While in Finns, silence is okay; it's a normal thing. And we like to stand a meter away from each other at bus stops. And did we have something else? What? Oh, and punctuality. Yes, for the Finns.
Okay, thank you.
We're still going to add a little bit. So, educational systems, differences, religion, values, and food, way we dress, I guess is a little different to other countries. And something else? Okay, that's better.
Yeah, okay, thank you. This educational background is really challenging. We realized that yesterday when we interviewed newcomers, so there's big difference with different countries. Okay, so families are far away.
So we discussed a little bit about the issue, and it is a challenge itself that the family is far away. And we discussed that for some, the studying in a city that is far away from the country of origin is sort of escape from the life. But in many cases, this is something that is necessary. Necessary to get the proper education so that that person can go back to the country of origin and then, you know, prove the education and maybe get some better job or something. So that is very challenging, and we discussed that supporting that people who have the issue by creating a new kind of family here, the community that is supporting that person is one way to solve that problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and the language barriers, we also had this topic. And actually in our class we had this problem because as many of you probably know, there is one person or two persons chosen to be a class representative, and there are meetings for the class representatives, and I was chosen by myself to be one, and we went with a friend from the other group from the same program for the meeting, and when we pointed out that we don't speak Finnish and the meeting was in Finnish, they said that we cannot be representative because we don't speak Finnish. So that is a huge language barrier for us because, of course, we were chosen by the class, by the community to represent them, and then someone was forced. The Finnish-speaking person was forced to do that because we have to have the class representative. So yeah.
Okay, that was actually my fault because I didn't remember that the class representative has to be a Finnish one because. Yeah.
But I mean that is a bit weird because that is the most international campus, and still we have the issue that is like this. So, what yeah.
And yesterday we have applicants about from 26 different countries, so you can imagine what kind of variety of the language are there when we interview them. So it was sometimes it's hard to us also, you know, to understand everything. Okay. So study habits and money matters last.
So we started with the study habits. So we found it pretty hard at first because we all come from working life, and to get back used to studying after a while of being in the working life, that is very hard for us. And then lots of group works happened in the first semester. So especially if you come straight from the high school, you have been studying for a while just on your own for the exams and whatever, or military, whatever, like you're not used to studying. So that took us a while anyways. And time management, so you should always like have time, you need to have scheduled time for studying. You shouldn't just leave it for the last minute. And then we have the money matters, so time management with that as well, time management, because we used to work a lot of hours, and now we are just studying or being in the events, so that's a surprise for us a bit anyways. And the first month, it's very expensive because you need to buy all the tickets, be in all the events, you can't make money, you're just eventually spending it all the time. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think the question is that as a student tutor, how can you help newcomers? So that's the one thing what we are concentrating, and then we are discussing purpose of counseling and tutoring. So actually, I and Heikki, we discussed. Heikki is, the representative of the Finnish side. So we discussed which topics are very relevant to discuss with you. So the main problems are how we will get, how we can help to integrate the newcomers to Finland. The second one, joining together as a group, and the third one, learning effective ways to study. So these are the main things we should discuss. And integrating to Finland, I think you already answered to some of these questions, but maybe I need one secretary here. So I think I could ask you again, so you can quite freely say, how would you help newcomers to integrate to Finland? Is there any voluntary to be a secretary who could write something down? Okay. So, and some comments. How would you help the newcomers? I can then tell what we as academic advisor can do. But of course, it's much more easy to you to take contact with students when we compare, for example, me in my role. I think first they come to talk with the tutor students, so if they have some problems. Okay, any comments?
Will he write it there on that paper?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, please.
Write it real big so my feet's on the camera.
Okay, any comments? Integrating to Finland.
I mean, you're not on the camera anyway, so. So I will be like.
Lex.
Here, it's weird country. We are very shy. It's cold and dark, and people who come, for example, from States, I think it's quite challenging. How would you help newcomers?
Yes. We are close.
That's the best way to integrate. If you are stepping out of your comfort zone.
Give them money.
Maybe not.
Maybe we could also advise them about things.
I know for a fact that ESN likes to arrange a Finnish cultural night, so they'll have a big evening where they'll have like different Finnish foods, and they'll play, what's it called? Murki? They play that game. So ESN, which should be in a lot of universities anyway, I think plays a pretty big part in integrating the students in multi-disciplinaries as well.
Okay. Some other comments? I can see what you are drawing to. Okay. Something else?
Showing them around, whatever.
Okay, yeah.
In general. Was it the school or the community or whatever? Services.
Maybe there's some evenings, like evenings of Finnish culture.
Yeah.
To explain the habits. Like exactly what you said about the bus stop, for example.
Yeah.
Keep distance at the bus stop. That's important. I mean, the people who come to Finland, they need to understand that to avoid some problems and people with bandits, for example.
So something rules how to integrate the society.
Yeah, not official rules,
Yeah.
because if like somebody said like this is the rule, nobody will like it. Like there are some rules of communicating with people. But yeah, something like evening of Finnish culture, people to understand how they act and how they behave to understand what we find here.
So more events where you will get to know better Finnish culture. Okay.
Also, I was thinking about all kind of like paper stuff and bureaucracy, like show them how to get to do the student grant documents and how to access help
not only a school, but something like for people who come from other countries and they love traveling permits and this stuff like taxes in case someone doesn't work, to explain everything how like bureaucracy works in Finland, like yes, like documents and so on. So that's important because some people have no idea and they can face like big problems, for example, like paying taxes as well, that if they don't feel like better and this is stuff like, and I think that like foreign tutors can help with that because they pay a lot. Yes.
Bureaucracy.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah,
someone's
to
going
help.
to help you spell this.
Okay, maybe we'll continue because I think I have exactly half an hour time. So, Gabe, what are you doing there?
Bureaucracy, but I don't know how to spell it.
Close enough.
Okay.
You
So, yeah.
see somewhere at least. Go crazy.
Someone can fact check me later.
Of course, we also, staff members, try to integrate students to Finland. It might be challenging somehow, but during orientation lessons, orientation days, we want to give some information. And then, of course, ISP counseling. And then we have this personal development planning course where we also try to pay attention to these things, what newcomers need. But of course, I know it's much more easier to take contact to student tutors than to teacher tutors. And then one problem what we have really faced here is the joining together as a group. So I think you already gave some good examples how we can help new students to join a group. But are there still some other things what you could do?
Create events for everyone in the group.
Yeah.
Or actual night or something.
So different kind of events, for example. What else? So newcomers come here to study. How you would help them to join a group?
We need to define their hobbies. For example, if they're acting like somebody's playing football or somebody's playing guitar, like, and they can do it together, for example, but they didn't know because they never talked about this. If you as a tutor define who is doing what, like for example, what are hobbies of each person, then they can like find each other somehow. So yes. For example, I still don't know in my group who is, for example, playing
Okay.
or
Do you have any experience of this? Your hobbies, so
There seems to be very little like sports clubs at all. Like there's
esports.
Yeah, there's the esports club, but that's like it. There's nothing like a Haghelia football club or a volleyball club.
And also the music, the same. For example, no music, like classics, for example.
yeah, but I think there is this was it football group or what we do have here in Haga? I'm not sure.
Yes, you don't promote it.
Yeah.
Because I haven't heard about
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
There's the floorball tournament, I think, once a year or so.
Yeah.
Student sports services, like we don't really know anything about them. Like they don't promote.
Because nobody said it. So yeah.
Okay.
It's the three University of Applied Sciences working together and providing, like you can, as a student of one of the three universities, you can use any of their facilities, and as long as you have like your Helga membership, you can get the zone card as well. So you can use the gym in the Pasila campus or in any of the Metropolia or Laurea campuses. They have a bunch of like basketball courts, football courts, and all you need to do is go and reserve them, which is super difficult to find on all of their different websites.
Okay, but then maybe
New tutors have to like get some information about it so we can tell the newcomers.
Yeah, during orientation week, for example, just give this information to newcomers, so it could be nice to combine these hobbies and people. Okay, so what we try to do, so classroom activities, for example, I think you have realized that we will mix the groups. When you have group works, we try to mix you, that there are not only Finnish students in one group and other students are not sharing the group where Finns are. So we try to mix that quite a lot. Sometimes students are not very satisfied with our solution, but that's one way. And then of course, Um, Sometimes it's quite difficult for teachers to see if somebody is out of the group. So, of course, we try to pay attention during coffee breaks and lunch breaks that are the student joining the teams and so on. And then some of you said different kind of events. For example, in first year we had this alumni cafe where we just wanted to put students together to plan some event where they will meet alumni and also they cooperate together and get the new team members. And something else, we also want that second and third year students, they come and tell about their stories, their experience, and helping so newcomers to build up, to get contact other students. So different kind of group work, what we try to do quite a lot. Okay. Actually, last topic is this learning effective ways to study, because we all have the same goal. We want the student will graduate one day, and learning effective ways to study, it's very relevant thing. So, how you could help in these things?
Motivating.
Motivating.
Yeah.
How you could motivate?
By motivating.
Giving lollipops.
Because from the previous experience, they might have very different kind of system to study, and then when they come to Finland, it might be totally difficult then to just go our study work. Okay, what do you have on your mind?
I don't know how you did it in like other campuses, but at least in Pasila, when they were doing the tutor, like interviewing new tutors, like tutor applicants, we were asked like if we would be willing to organize like study groups for the new students, like if they're having any kind of difficulties with the orientation, like the obligatory classes, we could just have some like study sessions where everybody would get together and some like tutor and all the students could help them with it.
Okay, yeah. And that's very interesting because we have different campuses and different kind of methods. So I think it could be nice if tutors could cooperate then more, but just now I think you are cooperating a lot. Is there something else? Learning effective ways to study.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel as though people, like, obviously everyone learns in different ways. So there might be that one person in your group that's really good at just reading the whole like, textbook and somehow memorizing it. And there are other people who probably function better by kind of reading it, not really knowing what's happening, and then talking about it with Arnas over there. So if you do create like a, I don't know, a study group, maybe give the opportunity to some people who either know it well enough and give them the opportunity to maybe teach it to their classmates as well, because then it like solidates it in their minds, so then they start to understand it better, and everybody else gets a chance to hear it from a different perspective than the way the lecturer has given it, because the way Arnas's brain works is not the same as the way Taina's brain works, and if you don't understand Taina, you might understand Arnas. If you don't understand Arnas, you might understand Taina. So just try and do it all together.
I will promote Porvo at this point. We already have this kind of thing going on. It's called Reading Circle.
Reading
Circle.
Reading Circle, okay, that's great. It's nice that we can learn new things here all the time. So, okay.
You can't read it, Porvo does it already.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Guiding the newcomers in study as well.
Yeah, giving.
Yeah. Okay. Is there still any comments?
Well, maybe tell if you know something you have yourself done wrong.
Yeah.
What you're not supposed to do or have heard.
That's one way.
Own experiences.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Practicing by doing. Just
Yeah.
here, make an event, have fun, and then they're like,
yeah.
Okay.
That's why we want to invite second and third year students just to tell about the stories, how to do or not to do. And as a student counselor, of course, I have some guidance during contact hours and one-by-one meeting. So if there are some challenges, we can discuss that. And then, of course, we have here in Haga, we have academic advisors workshop every Tuesday. So if students have some challenges with study methods or some assignments, they can come and discuss, and we try to help them. And we have also this special needs teacher available. Heikki is here at Haga campus. I think maybe you have some similar services on the other campuses too. So, and of course we try to teach different kind of methods how you can learn, because their learning methods are quite different and everybody is learning by their own ways. So, okay, that was my part, and thank you very much for your comments. We appreciate it a lot, and you must know that your role is very big. So the newcomers, they believe what you say, and you have a lot of power on them. Thank you.
Good job, Jean.
No worries. Currently fighting a war.
Details piling on.
Last but not least, Tutor Camp info session hosted by Jake. So what, when, where, how, who, why, and other questions related to the tutor camps. So there will be approximately 90 tutors and 15 trainers from Helga and your head tutors. The whole point of the camp is to do everything practically, what you have learned in these afternoon trainings. So by playing and interacting with each other and all kind of fun stuff related to learning. Meals and transportation are complimentary. Helga will handle that part of the camp. Bring only the needed equipment and yourself. There will be packing list in this presentation, if I remember correct. This is the Kiljavan Leirikeskus, so the camp area. It's just like a really simple picture how it looks like. How many of you have been in Kiljava already? So there are a few. Yay! It's an amazing place and perfect for this kind of event. Program of the first day in the camp. So we will leave from Pasila at 9 o'clock, but we require you to be there at 8:45. And we will not wait for the people who are late, because we have a tight schedule and we need to focus on that. Anyway, when we arrive to Kiljava, there will be a little time to getting settled, whatever it means from your opinion, probably putting your bed and other stuff. After that, we will have workshops, which are divided according to the subject that we have had in this afternoon training. After that is lunch. Then we have some preparations for the evening program, which is the best part of the whole camp. Free time and dinner. There will be sauna, if somebody wants to go to sauna. I cannot promise that you're allowed to go to swimming, since there are some problems with the, how do you call it, laituri?
The
Deck. Yeah, some problems with the deck. It's sharp or something. Anyways, then after that it's quiet time in the sleeping area, and we'll continue on the next day. The second day, There's breakfast in the morning. After that, few more workshops. Then the lunch, ending ceremony, packing and cleaning, and then getting back home, heading back home. Just a quick reminder that we need to clean the whole area after the camp, so leave it clean, and there's less work at the end. Here's the packing list. You will receive this. Perfect, good job, Joona, I appreciate that. Joona is the other one who is responsible for the tutoring stuff. Anyways, there it is, one more time, if someone wants to take a picture or just look at it. With all of the questions, ask from your head tutor first. They'll probably know the answer for your question. If they do not know, contact me, Joona, or Thea. Any one of us will probably figure out the answer for your question. Okay, same thing as yesterday. I'll give out some post-it notes. You get to draw flowers or write some feedback of today. Please write down that it's the second day we're talking about. Can you share those? And after you're finished with the feedback, please come down with your post-it notes and stick it to the table right there, and then we're gonna have a picture together, so please do not leave before we have taken the picture.
What picture?
It's just a casual picture of the new tutors we have. And Porvo, if you want to give some feedback, tell it to Linda, and Linda will share it with me. So thank you, Porvo, for participating via stream. We will close it now. Thank you.